Hello everybody, it is Julia here, and if you ever wondered what your life would look like and if you would even function without the productivity tools and everything that helps you in your job and your daily life, you might either want to join me on this challenge, or maybe you can just sit and watch what happens to me because I'm about to try just that. Let me explain why. So, as some of you may know if you watched some previous videos, I am a PhD student in computer science. I started my contract in January. So from that point onwards, I've been relying on a set of productivity tools, mostly being Notion and lately Obsidian, for my productivity. But the problem is that I did not really think my tools through at the beginning. During my Christmas break between my graduation and the beginning of the PhD, while I should have taken time off, what I was doing instead was to actually design my productivity system, because I was aware that the moment I stopped studying and actually started working, I would have a lot more to keep track of, and I wanted to be ready for that. So I basically designed a Notion system that really is huge and humongous and was basically meant and tailored to a set of use cases that went from task manager to the project manager to the goal planning and to nutrition tracking and budget tracking, book notes and whatnot. And while I definitely have been using it like consistently throughout these months, lately I've been realizing that some of the features are not really suitable for what my workload and my day-to-day life actually ended up being compared to what I was imagining back in the beginning of my PhD. So since I am at a kind of breaking point in my PhD, now all the students from this academic year are graduating and the 4 students that I was supervising will be done next week. I will have a lot more free time and a lot less on my plate. And so what I was thinking about doing was to take a step back and actually see and do without all the productivity apps and gradually reintroduce them based on what I need, instead of just coasting with what I have right now and assuming that the Notion setup that I have in place is actually serving me well, rather than me serving the Notion setup just because it is in place right now and I want to keep it that way. So what I will be doing starting today, but actually I've kind of already drifted into it in the past week, I will not be relying on Notion at all, basically, for at least 2 weeks, possibly a month. And I will, of course, still be working. So some things like note-taking I will be doing, but I will just use standard markdown files and without relying on any kind of complex software tool. And for my task manager, I will try first to do it on paper and realize what kind of things it is that I need to keep track of and how they relate to the projects that I'm doing. And my idea is to write all of these things on a piece of paper, or just keep track of the things that I realize that I actually need from a productivity system in this month, or however long it will be, probably between 2 weeks and a month. It depends on how long it takes me to reach the critical mass of updates that I actually need. And then at that point, I will redesign my Notion productivity system and possibly other apps if I decide that it's not the case for me to stick to Notion from scratch. Maybe I will even do it in a live stream. I don't know. I need to think it through, but if it would be interesting for you, maybe leave it in the comment. And I will just go through one by one all the things that I realized that I actually need for my job during the month where I didn't have access to Notion as it is now for me, because it would just take too long to move things away from Notion and to readapt to fit my needs. And I will be doing that in a month's time just to see how it goes. I think this is a good point to do it because I am at a stage where I will have reasonably low day-to-day tasks. It's gonna be mostly paper reading with a few meetings scattered around the week that I can keep track of without relying on a task manager. And in this way, I hope to convert to a Notion system that is a bit more stripped down to the core of what I actually need, instead of being this huge and probably definitely unnecessary set of pages that it is right now. So in a hope to rationalize my workspace in Notion, now that I know better the way in which my actual workspace and workflow play out in a single day or throughout a week or throughout a long-running project, which might be 3 months long. So if you are interested in the results of this experiment, and if you want to keep up to date with the way in which this is going to play out, I suggest that you maybe leave a like to this video, and I'll keep you posted for the day in which I will finally be redesigning my Notion setup. And I would be curious to know if you did something like this and maybe just took a break from the productivity tools that keep you hooked to the way in which they were designed before, maybe instead to just take a step back and redesign them from scratch. And how did you go about porting maybe the old material to the new setup if you needed to? So I would be curious to know that, because I'm a bit worried about losing track of some things, but it's too late. I'm gonna do my best. I decided I'm gonna do it, so it's happening, and I will keep you up to date, and I will see you all anyways next Sunday, not for the Notion building video because that's gonna be way too early, but anyway, for some new content. So bye.